everyone. Today I have a special guest, and her name is Anisa, and she's only 14 years old this year. So, what interesting about Anisa is I got to know Anisa from a podcast. I actually submit some of my profiles, to appear on some of the people's podcasts on Match FM. And then actually Anisa reached out to me and asked if I can share about internet safety and cybersecurity tips, for people and children and adults that that can benefit people, especially internet is not a safe word. So I say okay, and then and she actually sent me the Zoom, and then when the day that I need to hop on a Zoom, I got a shock and I realized that, oh my gosh, am I speaking to the right person who actually have this podcast? And she's only like so small, 13 years old. And then when I was like shocked and Anisa was like talking after I gathered my thoughts, and then I asked, hold on, Anisa, are you the podcast owner? And she said yes. And then obviously I did share about the internet safety, but it caught my interest about Anisa, and I find Anisa is so special. I think number one is about the age. The age. She's only 13 years old, but the way she speaks actually seems that she's not in her 13 years old. She's much more mature, and there's so much wisdom despite that her young age. And also the second thing that which really draws me to her is her inspirations to create a better world, to share her knowledge, to benefit other people and other children in this era. So I think that this is very incredibly awesome, about Anisa. So by the way, Anisa's podcast name is Anisa Creative Podcast. So if you would like to check her podcast out, go ahead and check her out. But hi, Anisa, welcome on my platform.
Hello, Jess. Thank you for inviting me over.
Yeah. So like I said, I thank you so much for sharing, because I think that right now, especially tech and the children's, many parents have concern. Like a lot of kids, they are addicted to the tech, to the gaming, to the internet, to the social media, even the YouTube.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I even have a
most
client.
Popular one, right?
Yes. And even I have a client share with me, right, when he became my client, he say that my kids have YouTube addictions, like YouTube is also addictions. Yeah, so there's a lot of addictions and distractions. Even they are not addicted, but they are distracted from, the things that they're supposed to do. They forgot about their homework, chores, even sleep and eat, this kind of like basic things that, the kids forgot, and they just continue on the smartphone, on the gaming console and all that. So and that's why I'm actually inviting you here to share more. But maybe can you actually give us some background about yourself? Maybe can you share maybe your name, your age, and maybe your childhood with technology use?
Yeah, of course. My name is Anisa. I am 14 years old, and I am the founder and the host of Anisa's Creative Podcast. It's actually a podcast where I share about a lot of different topics like public speaking, science, productivity, study tips, and self-improvement stuff, so that kids and teens can learn a lot of things from their homes. So yeah, and I'm from Bangladesh.
Wow, that's very interesting, right? Because you actually create a podcast, and like I think children's at your age, all the thing is about not self-improvement, but the next things, the next toys to chase,
Right.
the next games to chase.
And then popular makeups.
Yes, popular makeups, especially for girls, like they want to look good, and they use a lot of filter and all that. Yeah, but I'm actually curious, what inspired you to do what you do? Why you created a podcast and want to share with the world, while you can be just like the others, be on the makeup, having the filter, looking good, looking gorgeous, or maybe with the games. Can you share more on that, about what is your inspiration behind this?
Okay, so I'm just going to give you a backstory. So back when I was like 4 years old, I used to learn about a lot of different topics, such as graphic designing, how to make PowerPoint presentations, and coding and technology and other stuff. So, and I also learned English from the internet as well. So my teachers actually used to admire me more than any other student. And also my peers also admire me. So I thought, why not create a podcast where kids and teens can learn a lot of things and they can be more knowledgeable? That way, their peers and their teachers can also admire them more. So, yeah, that's the only reason why I created my podcast. And I actually discovered the thing called podcasting when I was like 11 years old. So, it was a little bit of a new topic to me. So, I actually found the idea of being a show host very appealing. So, I started a podcast.
Wow. And you mentioned something interesting about like you actually in touch with tech when you are 4 years old.
Yeah. Actually, I was. So since I was like 2 years old, I was introduced to computers. It was like a game to me. I used to just turn on the computer and just turn it off again and then turn it on again. So I used to like it. And at the age of 4, I was introduced to computer properly. And my first thing that I did on my computer was making a Word document. So one time after studying, my mom was sleeping. I just turned on the computer and then I just made a resume for myself for fun. That's it. So it was like a game to me. And I also used to do like all of these like maths games or something so that I could learn a lot more about maths. And yeah, and I always try to learn more about technology and how it works because I just like it. I find it really appealing. And that is the only reason why I want to be a software engineer when I grow up. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. But you also mentioned something that is very interesting that your mom actually introduced computer properly. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, properly meaning actually like she just turned on the computer and told me that computer is a very interesting thing. And she was the one actually who taught me how to make PowerPoint presentations. And also, she also taught me how to use the computer like properly, actually, like not just play games and watch YouTube. You can do a lot of stuff with it. That's what my mom taught me. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, kudos to your mom, right, for teaching it properly and not allow you to just mindless scrollings and mindless playing games without any purpose to that, right? So I think that which is very, very interesting. So can you actually share more about your podcast, right? Because you say that you want to share more, like the things that you do and what you want to achieve with the podcast.
Okay, so what I want to do is to reach a lot of people in the world. So I want my podcast to reach like many different countries in the world to many different kids and teens of different ages. And I just want to inspire them. That's it. And also my goal with it is to just grow it more and have like more listeners. So yeah, and I also want to do more interviews. And with my podcast, I actually want to learn more. And I actually learn more now because my podcast is like my main motivation for learning a lot of things. So I just learn and then I just write my script and then just record it and then share it. So yeah.
Okay. And I can see that, yes, you can inspire people. But what actually amazes me is like, I realized that you also change, like even that there is a time of 1 year that I seen you, but I can also see that, hey, you have changed to a more matured than, when I see you, I think you are already quite matured. But when I talk to you again, this year, when I actually reach out, hey, I think I want to interview you about this topic. And then you came and then we talk about it. And when I interact with you, then I realized that, oh my gosh, it's a different Anisa I'm actually dealing with. So I see that there is a quite significant change, of you, even running the podcast. Can you share what has changed and what makes you change because of the, side effect of running the podcast?
Yeah, actually what has changed, I would say, is just a little bit of my knowledge because I am always learning something new every single day. So that's the only reason why I think I have changed a little bit. And also my English has actually changed a lot since a year because I did a level test back then and my English level was only B2 and now it's C1 advanced. So I think that's what has changed as well. And also I think my values have changed. Like I want to improve more every single day and then I want to grow more. Like I have a really growth mindset. So I think that's what has changed. And I'm also trying to make like proper use of my time like I did before. Like I didn't do it before because I didn't have much to study back then because I was a little bit younger. And now I have a lot to study, a lot to do. So I have to manage my time. So for balancing all of that, and I'm also trying to be a little bit like elegant, classy, and things like that so that I can be more confident. So I'm trying to be more confident. So I think that's actually what changed.
Yes. And that's what makes so I'm so happy for you, you know, like I can see the significant change. And if I'm your mom, I'm sure that she will be like super proud that, you know, to see that, wow, you have a dramatic change, but this change is for good. And you can see that what drives you is because your inner motivations, and not like, you know, your mom is telling you to do ABC, you know, that kind of thing. And I see that a lot of kids out there, they are like, oh, why are you doing this? My mom tell me so. It's like, huh? Okay, so you're doing this because your mom tell you. But what I see the difference is like you're very self-driven, you are very confident, and your self-esteem has actually like go up because of your English, and then because you're constant learning, and you can see that um are you have improved because of the, you know, the side effects of your daily habits of constant learning. You know, like you will not just make a change, pum, then you become, wow, I become like, it's not like Superman, you know, I tear out the clothes, then I become Superman, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the small habits of like having the, oh, I want to learn everything new every day, and it's because of the constant habits of learning, getting better, apply what you learn and into your day-to-day things, you know, like I'm sure you actually put a lot of practice on your English, and that's why you improve, and you put a conscious mind that you want to improve. Because when you say that, oh, I have assessment this and this is okay, fairly good, but I want to be excellent, and that's why it drives you to be the next level. So yeah, so I'm actually super proud and super happy for you too. Okay, so I think you actually share that you want to reach more people, and it's really about like getting people to you know, at the end of the day, if let's say I'm your listener, right? I'm imagine that I'm kids of your age, maybe I'm 13 years
Okay.
old right now. So what do you hope that I can actually get by listening to your podcast daily? What you hope that I can get, or maybe I can transform by listening to your podcast daily?
Yeah, I just hope that you just get like one or two things, like new things in your mind. That's what I actually want. Like, for example, when somebody is just sitting in the car, they just usually scroll on TikTok or just listen to music, which are not really sometimes good. And they also just scroll on YouTube. So instead of doing that, when you just play my podcast, you can just actually learn one or two new things. That way you can be just knowledgeable. Like, you don't have to like hear the whole thing, this, and you can just skim through it. Like, I have some chapters for my podcast as well, some segments, different segments. So you can just skip to those parts and then just learn one or two things. That's it. Just learning something, a little bit of something new is just good. So that's what I want to take away.
Yes. I totally agree with that. And honestly, because I'm also like constant learning like you, even at my age, I'm still like constant learning. I know I'm good, but you know, there are always things that I can do better. And you know, there are things that I think that it needs to have some improvements or maybe some change so that I can be the next level that I want to be.
Yeah.
And usually for me, it's also like the daily habits, listening to this podcast or this guru that I'm following up. And
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
listening the whole thing, I may just use like I have a daily habits of walking in the nature, and then as I walk, but since I'm walking, right, why not I just use? I enjoy the nature, but at the same time, I'm just playing the podcast on my earphone, and I just jogging, and
Yeah.
then it's just like taking one or two tiny bits from what they told us.
Yeah, and also I would like to talk about this app, which is called Blinkist. This is where you can like listen to all of these book summaries. Like they literally tell you about what is inside a book in just only 15 minutes. So I like to incorporate this app into my day so that I can just learn something new every single day. And I don't usually like listen to the whole thing. I just skip to like all of these different parts. The parts are called links. So I just skip to different links. So yeah, that's what I also want to do with my podcast, so that my listeners can just take away like one or two things from one or two segments, so that they can just learn something a little bit new. And if they just listen to the whole thing and then they just learn the whole, then it's good for them. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to actually bring back to, you know, to the scene that you mentioned that you actually wanted to do this podcast. You discover this podcasting, you know, in when you are 11 years old, and you decided you want to do a podcast. But obviously running a podcast is not like as easy, especially, you are children and you are still young and you have to figure out the tech side of it. So can you share how do you manage to figure out all the techs, and how do you manage to, set up the podcast and get it running?
Yeah. I actually just used like Google and YouTube to find out what can I use. That's it. So there's this YouTube channel called Pod Sound School. I'd like to shout them out because they just helped me to like actually start out on my podcast. They introduced me to this app called Anchor, which is a free hosting service. Right now, the app Anchor is called Spotify for podcasters, but I use it for making my podcast and recording and editing the episode. And also, I don't just use one app. I use like many different apps, and I just figure it out by myself. Like I just record and produce my podcast entirely by myself. Yeah. It's like, for example, when I interviewed you, I had to like extract the audio file from the video file. So what I did was just edited the video in the app InShot, and then I just used another app called Audio Extractor. So I just extracted the audio using that app, and then I just uploaded it, and then I edited it again. So yeah, it took a while actually, but I just figured it out by myself. That's it. I just used Google.
Yes. And actually Google is a very powerful tool, I if I don't know anything, right? So the first thing I will search is Google and ask them, hey, I am not sure about this. Can you elaborate more? And if I find that this is something that I need to explore, then I will just ask and maybe read some articles or books or, some resources that I can actually find out more about the topics that I am passionate about. But what makes interesting is like, like tech, to some people, they are like, shit lah, this is just not me, like I know some, they are just, I have to say, they are really dummy in tech, they're like, tech, not for me. Yes. But what's interesting is like you seems to able to figure out how all this on your own, and I'm just curious, like how do you manage to figure out, and what was the things on your mind like when you do this, and what was like behind your scene, in your mind, what is your mindset, and what is the things that drives you? Because I'm sure that when you try a lot of tools, right, some work, some don't work, it happens, right? So can you share a bit more on that?
The main thing behind this thing is just curiosity. Yeah. So like whenever I try to like edit something, I feel like, oh, can I extract the audio? And then there's like a curiosity in me. And then I went to go to Google it. And then after Googling it, I found out about a lot of different things, which will bring me more curiosity. And then I learned a lot of more things. So yeah. So mainly it's just curiosity. Yeah.
Okay. Mainly it's just keep your mind curious and just explore the next step, one step at a time, right?
Yeah. One step at a time. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So it seems that tech is part of your life. Can you share how you manage your day with
so
the
I actually I actually use this time management technique called time blocking. This is actually a technique used by Elon Musk and a lot of different successful business owners. So I use this technique. So basically, I just divide my day into different blocks. For example, there's a morning block, which is from about 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m., we have this afternoon block. And then from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., we have this night block. So I just divide my day into 3 blocks and assign like each task to each block. For example, the morning block is for studying. The afternoon block is for my extracurricular activities, which is what I use for recording my YouTube videos and for my podcast episodes. And also try to do other activities like free writing, like because I like to write stories as well and read stories. So I just read and write at that time. And yeah. And on the night block, I just study again. So yeah, that's how I manage my time.
Okay. Sounds interesting, and I actually use this technique as well, time boxing. But you actually found this very early, and it's also. Can you actually describe more on this time boxing? How does it actually help you to maintain? Because I think, because for me, it's like when I actually decide and I put my conscious mind to do this, it's also like put like a conscious mind and my attention and my focus that this is things I need to focus, and I just get to run my days more efficiently. Maybe can you actually share more on that, and if it's the same for you?
Yeah, of course. So basically, I just discovered this thing called alter ego, which is not actually ego, which just means that you just go into a character. For example, kids, when they put on a Batman costume, they become a Batman. They think they become a Batman or Superman. So you start to think that you're in a character. For example, my name is Anisa, but my name is also Faiza. So I think that Faiza is a character who stays productive. So in my study block, I just try to be Faiza. So which is like my character at that time. So I just become really productive and really studious, and I feel very motivated to study. And I also make a to-do list instead of scheduling my time, because I think schedules are really overwhelming for me. So I just create a to-do list. So by just looking at the to-do list, I feel more motivated, and I just go into that character, and then I just went on to study. That's it.
Okay. So you have like a character like Faiza is more to productive, and Anisa, I guess that to be more playful or something like that.
Yeah, playful and creative. Yeah.
Okay, so you actually switch your character during the day, and if let's say this is study time, so I need to get Faiza into my body, and I just work all the way.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. And how do you define the character? Because I find this is also very interesting. Maybe can you actually elaborate on that? How do you define, and how do you know that, okay, this is the right time I call Faiza, and this is the right time I need to call Anisa? Can you actually elaborate more on that?
Yeah, obviously. So Anisa is actually like more creative, and like more creative, playful, cheerful, and a little bit more aesthetic as well. Like she tries to use all of these like colors and things like that. So in my afternoon block, I try to bring Anisa into my life, because I have to record my podcast episode and tap into my creative side so that I can write some like stories, because like I said before, I like to write stories sometimes. And I also like to make YouTube videos. So then I also go into the Anisa mode so that I can like edit my videos properly and go into the not go into the productive mode, because if I do and become more serious, I won't be able to do it really well. And in the study block, whenever I just want to, and I'm not feeling motivated, but I want to study, I just go into that Faiza mode, because Faiza is more like studious, productive, and like self-driven, and also just want to achieve things, has goals in life, and that's what motivates her. So I just went to switching my character and become Faiza, so that way I just study more and work efficiently. And there's also this app on my phone called Focus. It's like a study timer, which I use to motivate myself. So it's basically what I do is just start the timer. So starting the timer basically means that you're planting some virtual trees. And if you don't like study properly and just stop the timer before the timer ends, then your tree will wither. And then there's also some game coins or things like that. So it'll just motivate you to work hard. So yeah. So I just try to study sometimes when I'm not feeling Faiza or Anisa, then I just start that timer and just study, because I have to earn more coins so that I can buy more trees on that app. Yeah.
Okay, is this Focus app? I heard about this Focus app, but I have not really used it. Is it like I know that you will plant the trees, and if you actually didn't do as what you have actually committed, then your trees will die, which is a bad thing happen.
Yeah.
But is it a paid or this is a free app?
Yeah, it is actually a freemium app on Android. For example, it is free, but you also have to pay for some of the trees and some of the features, like studying with other people on the Focus app. And so you have to pay for this feature in the app, in the Android app. And for the iOS version, you have to pay for the whole app. For example, if you search for Focus in the App Store, you have to like pay for the app in order to download. But on the Android, you don't have to pay for the app. So yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I didn't know. I tried to actually download on the iOS. I think it's a paid one, so I didn't like really go for it. But I didn't know that the Android is actually the free version. So maybe I want to actually explore the app on the free on that.
Really try it.
Okay. So I'm also like still curious about like the character you are mentioning about, like how do you define that characters? Can you like give us like the steps, or maybe like how you actually able to come up with these characters, right? Like sometimes I want to be that character, like, and maybe this is not a character that I have or I used to have, or maybe it's not like something that is me, like that is very hard to embrace, like I can create a character like this is the character, but in actual I'm not that character. Then there's like a huge gap, like how do you able to come up with such character? But I'm sure this character is part of you. It's just that you create a part, some sub part of your character, and you actually use that more powerfully at the time, at the study time. Okay, so at this moment, I need Faiza, who is the character this, and I want to open your superpower, like, like I can't remember what, but it's as like, if you have the stones, right? I think the Thanos with the stones, right? Then okay, so this now I'm going to activate this stone right now.
Yeah.
So you have the superpower. So can you actually come out, share with us how you come up with such characters and how you actually activate that?
Like I mentioned before, that I only watch things and which actually inspire me. So because it inspires me, I want to be that character. So it's like a journal exercise. Even though I don't journal, I just do all these in my head. But you can try journaling. Just open your journal and just write the person who you want to be. For example, I want to be more productive and more self-driven. So I just wrote it. I want to be a person who is more self-driven, is more aesthetic, and is more elegant, and also tries to work hard, also tries to challenge herself. So that's what I wrote, and that's also a part of me, but it's also a really small part of me. So I just wrote it, and I want to be that person. So then I just changed my mindset that I will be that person one day. Instead of just making little habits and little changes, I just pushed myself I will be that person. And then whenever it's the time of studying, I feel like, okay, I am Faiza, and I'll start. So yeah, that's it. I just turned it on.
Yes. I like the way that you actually mentioned, because I think that of course, you are here, and this is the next identity you inspire to be. But there's still a huge gap. But it's not that you will not get forever. You will get there, and you inspire and say, I will be there someday. And if you go, and you will actually say that, okay, I'm going to be there. And when you are actually very clear that this is the new identity I want to pursue, and you have a goal, and you know that, hey, in order to be that, I have to be that. And you start to change your, of course, you have to do the mindset. Any changes in your identity always starts with the mindset. If I do anything with my child, even if let's say they are stuck, then the first thing I will usually work on is their mindset, because I think that is the most important thing to work on before you give them the systems or give them the tools to do anything. Because if they're tools and systems, it does not work, because the mindset is still stuck. So I think that I like the idea when you actually say that you inspire to be that, and although I'm not there yet, but one day I'll reach there, and you start to be very conscious, path your way to go there, and at the same time shift your mindset, to be there. Yeah. So if you can elaborate more, how do you shift that mindset a bit more?
Yeah, obviously. So like you said, I actually think that I will be that person one day. So then I think that if I want to be that person one day, I have to start working on it now. So that it motivates me to be that first person. And so I just switch it. That's it. It's because I want to be that person in the future. And I think that I have to be it now in order to do it. Because if I don't study and work hard now, then I won't be able to be that person in the future. So I just think that I have to be it now. And I just go on to planning it, that how will I be that person? And after planning it, I feel really motivated, and I just do it. That's it.
Okay. Wonderful sharing. I love this, actually. Okay, so can you also share if there are times that you feel that you are distracted or addicted to tech? I think all of us do. I'm not sure about you, but I certainly do that. Sometimes and if you can elaborate more, what were you feeling, or what were you doing at the time when you feel like, hey, I'm distracted? And what was happening at the time whenever you feel you are distracted or addicted to it?
Yeah, basically, most of the time I feel distracted to tech right after I wake up. Because right after waking up, I don't feel like getting up from bed or making my bed sometimes. So I just go onto phone to avoid that task sometimes. And usually I realize it after 30 minutes of touching my phone. So after that, I just wake up and then just go into that Faiza mode, and then I just make my bed and then do my morning routine and then get on to work. That's it.
Okay. Because it's always the first part lah. What about the rest of the days?
Yeah, so rest of the days, I actually like to procrastinate on a subject which I don't like. For example, there's this subject called Bangladesh and Global Studies. It's basically the history of our country, and I basically hate it because
Okay.
it's a history, right? And it has like all of these like dates and things like that. For example, in 1971, the liberation war of our country happened. Even though I have memorized it, but there are also some other like years as well. For example, there's this 1700s. This king came in, and I hate it. I just don't want to memorize it, so I usually procrastinate on studying that thing. But then the moment I realized that I procrastinated, I went on to studying another subject. For example, if I don't like that subject, I would go on to studying science because I like that subject more. So yeah. So usually, like I said, I realize that I'm procrastinating after 30 to 45 minutes after I start procrastinating. So then I just plan my day again, replan my day, and then I just would go on to studying another subject instead of that one. That's it.
Okay. It seems that you are very conscious you are procrastinating, right?
Yeah.
Because many people are not conscious. They just thought, this is the phone. It's the phone problem. It distracts me and get me addicted. That's typical what people responded. If let's say they don't, it's the phone problem. It's not my problem. But I'm sure. But for you are very conscious about like, hey, I'm procrastinating. I don't like this subject. This subject is boring. But the king, and it's not something that you really passionate and want to learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and you are very conscious about that, and when you actually dig through the feelings and all that, and you mentioned that you also dig through your feelings, like it's boring, I'm not passionate, then you will start, okay, I need to switch back to the mode, right? Yeah, which is very, very, and can you share like how do you get yourself to be more conscious, if you have a tips to share, how to be more conscious, because I think that a lot of people, they just mindless scrolling, mindless running their days without some consciousness.
Yeah, I would say that just set some timer like after an hour or so. Like, for example, set a timer or an alarm at 10 a.m. and then another alarm at 11 a.m. so that whenever you're mindless scrolling and the alarm rings, you just think that, oh, I was scrolling and I was procrastinating. That's it. And also, you can also try whenever you find yourself like scrolling and procrastinating, you can just always open a video which actually motivates you. For example, there is this video where someone shows that they're getting the life together in like a few minutes. So by seeing them work, you can also feel like you can work as well, and you can think that if they can do it, then I can do it as well, and then you can just work. And for being more conscious, I would say just you can try mindfulness, like meditation, so that you can be more mindful of your time and things. Yeah.
Oh, so you also practice meditations?
Yeah, I like it. It's like my favorite thing to do. It's like a hobby to me.
It's a hobby to you. How do you start meditating? Can you maybe share more how you meditate, and maybe you can share to children, because the way I meditate maybe resonates for the adults, but may not necessarily resonates with kids.
Yeah, of course. So I actually discovered mindfulness and meditation in the COVID-19. So when it was COVID, every night I had this app on my phone called Samsung Health app. On my phone, this app actually promoted mindfulness. Like there's this app called Calm, and that app was actually integrated in their Samsung Health app as well. So out of curiosity, I just clicked on it, and then I just went into a world of mindfulness. That's it. Then I saw this challenge called 7 Days of Calm, and I thought, why not try it? And then it was by Tamara Levitt, I think. She's a Canadian mindfulness coach. So yeah. And I just went on to starting a guided meditation at night, and I was like so mesmerized. It's like, ooh, it's really relaxing. So, and it also brings focus. So then I meditated in the next morning as well, and I was really consistent in that. And most of the time, not really that consistent, which is my word of the month this year, so that I can be more consistent. And so, yeah, I just tried meditating, and then I gathered some experience from that 7-day challenge. And after that, I actually went on to meditating by myself. And I also sometimes make meditation tutorials on my podcast as well, because I think meditation is really important, because relaxing is really important as well, because sometimes from studying, you might be really burnt out, and that way you can't focus really well. And sometimes you should have some time for yourself. And this is the quote that I actually think that everyone should hear, which is sometimes the best thing you can do is just relaxing. So that's the only reason mindfulness is really important. Mindfulness is also really important for eating, like mindful eating, mindful staying, mindful with every single thing and being present in a moment, because sometimes when you're like staying in the future, you can't get the work done. So yeah. So I discovered mindfulness because of it, and I found it really relaxing. So yeah, that's it.
Yes. Actually, my daughter also like the meditations if I have time to do with her. But I think I will actually also explore the Calm app for, ask her to explore the Calm app if it's very simple to use. I got her to do some breath work, which she finds that when she do the breath work, it's much more easier to calm down, and then she's back to the center. Then she can really think, what should she do right now, like back to the consciousness again. And then what was fascinating, like there's one time that she was sharing that, like there are some things that are happening and it's not something that she's happy about. And she realized that she was escaping, by her pain by going through, watching the YouTube, the funny stories, YouTube have a lot of interesting videos that you can watch. So she likes to watch all these humor type of videos because it makes her laugh, it makes her happy, and it's funny. Sometimes she watch it because she just want to be happy and just have good laugh, like we all want to do, we want to be entertained, and it's fine, all of us want to be entertained. But I think there's one time that she actually discovered that, okay, I'm actually escaping pain, and then she tried to do it, it feels better. But after some time, she feels that whenever she stops, then the pain actually came back again. But when she do the meditations, I think that I share videos before in my maybe I will share with you the videos as well. I will try to tag you, or maybe I will just send that to my email to you about the videos that she shared. When she realized that when she do meditations, it just calms her down and bring her back to the center. And she can just say to myself, it's not like a big deal, so it's not something that she needs to hold on it, and she can release it, her pain. So that is actually much better, rather than because the temporary escape to the phone, to the YouTube, yes, it helps, but it cannot release. But by meditations, she found that she can, after the meditation, can actually say that, yeah, actually, it's not a big deal, I can release that. It's not like something that is very important to me. And I think that this is very, very fascinating. It's about meditation and mindfulness, even for our children. Yeah. So I will share with you that video if you are interested to find out more.
Yeah, of course. Please share with me. I'm actually curious right now.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. And one day I think I would like to introduce you to her as well.
Yeah, of course. I would love to be friends with her. I mean, how old is she actually?
She's just 1 year old younger than you.
Oh, that means about my age.
Yes. She's 13, not 13 yet, coming to 13, but theoretically this year she's 13 years old.
Yeah. That means the same to me because I'm also turning 14 this year. I'm not actually 14, right?
Yes. She's turning 13. So she's 12 years, this still 12, turning 13. So she's like a year younger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you are about the same age, she also have some friends which is younger.
Yeah, even my friends are also 1 year older than me, because in my class, most of my friends are actually older than me, and I'm actually the youngest in my class. So yeah.
Oh, really? I thought you have to stay in the class when your age is depicted. I'm not sure about Bangladesh, but that's how schools in Malaysia.
Yeah, in Bangladesh, you can just literally get admitted to any class in any age. For example, if you're like 12 to 14 years old, you can just get into the class 8 or class 7 or class 6 anytime you like. For example, I have this friend who is about my age, but she is in grade 7, and I am in grade 8. So yeah, you can just get into any class you want, but they just test your abilities so that you can just actually go into that class. For example, you just take an admission test to the kindergarten class, for example. Then they'll just test your abilities. If you can't just qualify for the class kindergarten, then they'll just send you to nursery. That's it. You're just based on your abilities in Bangladesh.
Oh, okay, which I find interesting. Here is I guess it's more like a standard, like okay, you reach this age, you go to this class. So so can you actually share like what are the methods that you use that you can still maintain your focus and attention?
Okay, so for my focus and attention, I think that the environment is really important. So, for example, whenever I'm not feeling my best in my room, I have that other part of my room, which is a really like little part, which has a very big window, and it says that the best thing that you can do is relax, has some quotes in it. So I just go into that relaxing space so that I can just be like more mindful of my time and then just work proficiently. And sometimes I also like to put on white noise to just put in that mindset that I am studying in a rain. For example, there's this subject for religion where we study our religion, and I wasn't really feeling focused for it. So I thought, and I feel really focused whenever it's raining. So I just put on rain sounds and then just closed my eyes and then made myself to think that it is raining right now, it's raining outside, and I am studying. So that way I just became more relaxed, more focused, and then I just automatically went to study mode and I just studied. That's it.
Okay. What a very interesting method you have. But I think that environment is something that I also use a lot in my work. And even I also do it for my children. And I find that it actually works incredibly, just like magic, you don't need to put a lot of effort. It's just there. And when you go there, it's just boom, you just switch into that mode to work,
Yeah.
study, whatever you need to do. But it's just put on that mode. And that is very, very powerful. And then I like about the white noise that you mentioned about like the calm of rain. But for me, the rain may actually ask me like, oh, it's time to relax and maybe I can actually sleep. But it depends on how you interpreted it, like because white noise, for those people who actually hear about this, like it's really not about the white noise. It's about like how you interpret that. So you interpret that, oh, it's actually time to study. But if I do, for me, I haven't tried that, but I think that most probably I would think that, oh, it's a good time to sleep.
Yeah, I also think that way. So actually, raining does not make you study. So whenever I hear rain sounds, I just feel like, oh, I need to relax now. And whenever I'm relaxed, I study better. So that's actually the strategy that I use. And yeah, like you, I also think the same. So whenever it's raining and I just woke up, I feel like, oh, I need to sleep some more.
Yes. Rain actually bring a lot of calmness, and even listening to the noise is just like it just bring a lot of sense of like calmness, peace, and it's just like very refreshing. Like
Yeah.
if let's say your refreshing is not like you are going out and you got like it's refreshing in the sense of like I think especially when your mind and your heart is cluttered, everything you are running thousands of things and you are just like you are just overwhelmed, like when you hear about this rain, then you just feel like the sense of like it's just cleanse all the clutter, and then it starts to show the things that you need to focus at the moment. I think that's how I actually feel about it.
Yeah. I think that white noise is actually a really effective way if you like want to relax and soothe. And I think that white noise is also important when you want to meditate because meditation helps you relax and white noise also helps you relax. So you just mix the two and then you can just be more relaxed. That way you can just ease into your day and just work properly. So, and there's also this website called Noisely, which is what I use for white noise. So it basically just adjusts the environment for you. For example, if you want to study, you just have to click on the study button and then they'll just make a personalized white noise for you so that you can study better. For example, it's like a mix of different white noises. For example, the air sounds, thunder sounds, rain sounds. They just mix like all of these three and they just make a personalized sound for you. And it's actually paid, but I use the free one. There's a free version of it as well. So yeah.
What's the app again?
It was Noisely.
Noisely.
Yeah.
It's called Noisely. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so for those who actually listening to this, I will also try to compile the apps that Anisa actually spoke about. And Anisa, if you don't mind, also maybe drop me the link of the tools that you mentioned so that we can compile and actually pass to, those who listen to this, and so that they can actually put this, tech could be also helping in for us to, to gain back the focus and attention. I think tech is only the tools, it's how you use it.
Yeah. And sometimes, like, when there is something, a distraction is something, there'll be the cure for it in that same thing as well. For example, a medicine. Like, a medicine can harm you as well. For example, if someone does drugs, it can harm them. But those drugs can also help them whenever they're sick. So, the same thing goes to tech. Tech can help you be distracted, and it can also help you be not distracted. So, yeah, the cure is in the same thing.
Yes. I think it's a double-edged sword. It's just that which one you want to use.
Yeah. And you just have to pick the right side.
Yes, pick the right side. Correct. I love that. Okay, so can you actually share how do you manage to guide your focus so that you are not distracted by the tech? Is there any method that you use that you won't be distracted by this tech, like the YouTube shorts, like the TikTok, whatever things that you use?
Yeah, for example, I don't really use this method or something, but I don't call this a method as well. But whenever I find that I have been watching like a lot of YouTube and a lot of things in like every single day, then I just disable or uninstall the app for a few days so that I can train myself to gain focus again. So I have an iPad and a phone, so I just uninstall YouTube from all of those things so that I can train myself again. So that way, after training myself, I don't really feel distracted by the app anymore. And after a few days, I feel like, oh, this is nonsense. I don't need to watch it. So yeah, I just do this.
Yes. Another tip that I actually use and I found is very profound and working is for my children. I actually disable the recommended videos. I also disable the play, autoplay, usually when you
I do the same.
I will just disable that. So they will not recommended when they open the YouTube, they will not recommended you, they will not autoplay one. And then once they watch the first one, they will not autoplay the second one, just mindless scrolling. So for whatever they want to watch, they have to search, which they have to start with intention. What do I want to watch now?
Yes.
And therefore they need to search, right? If not, then nothing will appear.
Yeah. That's what I do the same actually. So after, like I said, I train myself. After training myself, I only go into YouTube for search for things that I want to watch. So that way I don't get distracted. So like you said that you don't turn on autoplay. So like you, I don't also turn on autoplay because I just don't like the feature, and also it doesn't allow me to focus. So yeah.
Yes. Because I find myself, if I don't turn on the autoplay, right? And honestly, I'm not like mindless scrolling. Like the videos that I watch I think is also very, very good. Sometimes they also teach a lot of things, right? But honestly, there is so much time that we can consume. There is so much time we need to consume. We need also to run our days. So we need to balance, the days that we listen and we consume and use that and apply, because you are not like consume and then that's it. I'm consume at the same time I use that and I apply, which is very beneficial to my life. But at the same time, I don't want to like over consume that. It's just consume, and I'm not able to apply anything, and I'm not also doing the things that by right I should be doing. And that's why I think that it's a struggle to born in this digital era, actually. So I think as some parents, they say, oh, I wish I can, my son is born not in this era, that, so I don't have this problem parenting him.
Yeah, sometimes I wish that as well.
Okay. So I think that you really share a lot about how you maintain the focus. I love whatever you share. You mentioned about like the consciousness, about, having that identity, and the habits of self-improvement, and then you also share some of the methods that you mentioned. How do you maintain the focus, attention, and to do whatever you need in order to become the person that you want to inspire to be. So I think that I got some of it, most of it already. Maybe do you have anything to share about that particular topic before I move to the next questions?
Oh yeah, I actually have like one last tip, which is like actually work according to your energy levels. For example, you can have your energy peak during the day. For example, you can be more highly energetic in the morning and not really energetic at all at night. So you can just try to work according to your energy levels and relax on the times when you don't feel really energetic. For example, I feel more relaxed at night, so I try to study new topics at night, and I try to study more relaxing topics in the morning. So yeah.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. I think energy is something that we have to be very conscious about, like what will be the energy we are doing. Yeah, I think it's actually something that we need to put conscious, like, knowing our rhythm. For me, I think knowing rhythm is very important, because if you try to push doing something but your energy is super low at the time, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard. It's like dragging a cow. Yes.
Yeah.
Dragging a cow. Right? It's just like dragging a cow. You may get some things done with very
No, it won't be really effective, right?
Yeah, it's not effective. And then even if you're able to accomplish the thing, it's like a shitty job that you are doing just for the sake to fulfill that, just for the sake of fulfilling that, but it's not like going to be one of your work that you would be proud of. So I think that is actually something that we need to be also conscious about. Like, yeah, but I think that bringing energy conscious to children could be a bit like hard, and maybe can you share more, how do you able to discover these, and how do you, if I want to teach my children, how should I do that?
Oh yeah, actually I discovered it from this YouTube channel. I think I've told you this before. This is this YouTube channel called Faye Films. This channel is by a Malaysian, and her name is Faye Ng, and she is now living in Melbourne, Australia, and she just shares all of these like very good tips and tricks about time management and productivity and how you can actually like grow as a student. So she actually helped me a lot in learning all of these time management techniques in when I'm feeling low. So I just watch her videos to feel inspired. And not her vlogs, actually. I don't really like watching vlogs sometimes, but I do watch her time management tips. And that way, I think that it can help a lot of people. So this energy level trick, I actually learned from her. Yeah.
Can you describe a bit more, if you want to teach me right now? Imagine that I am my daughter right now. I'm 13 years old. Hey, I'm curious about this. Can you teach me how can I use this method in my life?
Okay, so this is like a journal thing. So basically, you just have to go through a day and then track your energy levels through each hour. For example, at 10 a.m., how are you feeling? How is your energy level? Is it high, low? Just track it. And after tracking it, review it at the end of the night and see how your energy level was throughout the day. And if you see that your energy level is more high in the afternoon, then you just have to schedule the hard task in the afternoon. Like I actually find myself being more focused at about either in 3 to 5 p.m. and another time at about 10 to 12 p.m. And yeah, so I think those 2 hours are actually my peak hours where I can work better. So I didn't actually journal all of these things, but you can try journaling. I just reflected on my actions. That's it. So you can just journal it and then just track your energy levels. And then from the next day, you can just schedule your day according to it. So yeah.
Okay, cool. That will be very, very beneficial. So can you actually share anything that your parents did to raise you to be such character? I think you have an amazing character, especially your age. You are more matured and you are very independent, and you are also a very curious person that, able to figure out on your own. You are just a self-starter. So can you share anything that your parents did in order to raise you to be such a person?
Yeah, I think the main reason behind what inspired my character is probably my mom. She always actually used to tell me to always learn something new every single day. So that actually led me to what I am now, because my mom, she actually used to read me a lot of these books and always used to tell me a lot of different things. So that is actually what led me to my curiosity. So that way, I just always want to learn something new. And so yeah, I think the main inspiration was my mom.
Yes. And kudos to all moms out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is my last two questions. What is your advice to the kids and teenagers how to balance their online and offline world? Because I think right now, not even just kids and actually some adults also, I see they can't even balance their life between their online and offline. But if you have advice to these people, who wants to balance their online and offline world.
Yeah, I would say that just if you really are really addicted to Instagram or social media, then I would say just schedule some time, like an hour or so for social media. Like, for example, after working in the afternoon, you don't feel really well and your energy level is really low. Then that time you can just schedule your Instagram time. So that way you can just work and also balance your social life as well, social media life as well. So yeah.
Yes. And put intention like this is, my energy is not good.
This is my time to watch social media. Yeah, this is the mindset that you need to put.
Yeah. This is the time that I can watch my video or watch my Instagram or play my game so that I feel like, my energy is
time. And there is also another technique. For example, you like to game a lot. You like to gaming a lot. So then what you can do is if you want to game for an hour, then you have to study for an hour. So then you can only game after you study for an hour. For example, if you want to do gaming for 6 hours, then you have to study for 6 hours. So that will be like motivation and driven as well, I would say.
Yes. And I call it habit stacking, like usually, do something that you like on top of the something that you don't like. So maybe you do something that you don't like first, and after that you get something that you like. So maybe study is not something that you like. Okay, I study for 1 hour and then I get my game for 1 hour. Or then it's like, okay, I go for it.
Yeah.
And then, although it's not like but of course the real motivation is like, I want to be the next person that I can study well, can pass, pass my exams and, doing well in life, but like sometimes it's also good, to stack something that you know, because we have our energy and you can't expect your energy to be all high all day long.
Yeah. And also, there's also another advice, one last advice I would say, which is to be friends with people who actually matter about the thing that you matter. For example, if you think that you want to study more and you care about studying, then you have to be friends with people who also cares about studying and studying matter to them. So yeah, you don't become that because you are like 5 people of your friends with, right? So yeah.
Yes, precisely. And I think that even my daughter also say that, who you friend is actually very important. Even at her age, I think she discovered this like 11 years old and she realized that, you have to be very conscious about the friends that I pick. You want to pick the people that, raise you up, like it's not like they must be smarter than you, because sometimes she say that some of the people that she mingle, they are smart, but they're also not humble. They are very arrogant. So these are the people you don't want to mix, but you want to mix people that, studies matter, they really put into the work, to make study works, but at the same time have some things that they love, like their hobbies and all that. So I think that's the thing that she's looking, in when she chooses her friend.
Yeah, me too, I say, actually. Because I have a lot of friends who just wants to study but doesn't study with their friends. Some of them are like really into this competition mode with their friends, so they just study all day long at home, but then they say that, I haven't studied all day to their friends. So if you have friends like that, I would say just create your own environment around people. Like, you can't just go into all these like Facebook groups or follow these people on Instagram who actually inspire you. So this is actually one of my number one rule, is to only follow people who inspire you. So that way you can't be friends with those people, but you can still be those people, and you can always surround yourself with those people so that you can be that person, right? So yeah.
Yes, definitely agree. Okay, so do you have any message or advice to parents out there?
I would say there's always, like, whenever they're like working or cooking or something, don't give their phones to their kids, else they'll be addicted to it like for their entire life. So yeah, I would recommend just encourage them to read books instead. So for example, if a mom has to like cook, then she can always like read and show a picture book, and then just show that this picture is a turtle. and then make him be a little bit more curious about that turtle. And that way the kid won't be very distracted, and also try to learn a little bit more every single day and be more inspired, self-driven. And yes, you also has to answer all of the questions of the kids. Okay. And because if they don't, then the kids won't ask them questions and won't be curious. So yeah, that's my number one advice.
Okay, great. So I think that's all for today. And if you want to reach Anisa, so I will actually get Anisa's podcast for you guys, so that you can actually stay tuned to her podcast, and maybe if you're interested, you can get your children to be on the podcast to listen to Anisa, so that Anisa can reach to more people. And that's all for today. But if you guys have any questions and if you want to reach out, I will not share Anisa's email because Anisa is still quite young, so I want to actually keep. But if you have any questions for Anisa, feel free to PM me, and if I don't know the answer, or maybe I am also curious about it, then I will also reach out to Anisa to personally ask again how she deal with such things and all that. And bye for now. Bye, Anisa.
Okay, bye.